8 matches, all competitions, 7 in Leagues Cup, 1 in the US Open Cup, unbeaten. Those 3 draws, well, they advanced or won a trophy in penalties after all 3 of them. Meanwhile, the New York Red Bulls are in pretty good form as well. In their last 8 overall competitions, 4-2-2, unbeaten in 5. They actually went unbeaten throughout Leagues Cup, got dumped out by Philadelphia in penalties. This is a super important match in the Eastern Conference playoff race. Inter Miami, they have got a hill to climb. They do have 2 games in hand over most teams ahead of them, but 14 points away from the playoff line. Meanwhile, the Red Bulls, with 10 games to go, are just 3 points from that line, trying to extend their league record playoff streak 13 years in a row, trying to make it number 14. And underway, the first league match for Inter Miami in the Lionel Messi era brings them to New York City. Inter Miami and the New York Red Bulls. The Red Bulls at home debuting their freestyle kits, the 2023 third kit celebrating 50 years of hip-hop in the city that it was born. Inter Miami in their now familiar, ubiquitous pinks. New York Red Bulls, famous in Major League Soccer for their distinct style, the Red Bull way, just like it is around the world. Red Bull Leipzig and Red Bull Salzburg, high press, high octane, energy drink soccer, as they call it. Taylor, how does Inter Miami deal with that challenge for the first time in their new era?
I think they need to make sure once they're in possession, they bypass that initial line of pressure, 1 or 2 passes, and then take the sting out of the game. I find it very interesting tactically that Gomez is almost playing as a right winger. Inter Miami told us he would play more through the middle. I think they're going to try to test the game out, maybe play a little bit more direct, allow Farias and Gomez to play off in Campana. But Gomez is playing as a right winger. He is not playing through the middle, as Troy Lesesne and New York Red Bulls expected to see.
Troy Lesesne took over as New York Red Bulls manager on May 8th after the Red Bulls parted ways with Gerhard Struber. They're 9-5-5 all competitions under Troy Lesesne. He told us this week the focus is about us. We have not gotten into the spectacle of playing against Messi. I'm hoping that our players realize their focus needs to be on their responsibilities and not on being fans. Lionel Messi beginning tonight on the bench along with Sergio Busquets for the first time since July 21st. Their debuts against Cruz Azul, it has been match after match after match for Inter Miami. 7th game in 25 days, 9th in 36. They haven't had a full week of rest, Taylor, since the Leagues Cup group stage ended. That win over Atlanta on July 25th, and then the round of 32 against Orlando on August 2nd.
No, it's the right move from Tata Martino tonight. You've got a congested schedule after just playing a ton of games in 4.5 to 5 weeks. The second half, I expect to see Messi. I'd be shocked if we see Busquets tonight.
Yearwood forward. Elias Manuel. Kamal Miller takes it away.
But with both Messi and Busquets starting on the bench, how important is this for the young players, the collection of these players that are surrounding those two to have a good game tonight? You're going to get a real good indication, along with Tata Martino, about whether or not this tall task for 12 games, can they get into the playoffs, finding a way to get 26, 27 points to get in there. I think the performance tonight will say a lot about whether or not this group collectively can also help Martino along with Messi and Busquets when they need to rotate the roster.
A lot of the focus on Tata Martino's transfer window in Inter Miami, of course, were the big 3 from Barcelona: Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, that had so much success playing together in Spain for years and years. But they also signed 3 young players: Diego Gomez, Facundo Farias, and Tomas Aviles, all under the under-22 initiative, which it means that their transfer fees, which total reported around $15 million for the 3, won't count towards the salary cap. Well, those 3 players are in the starting 11 together for the first time tonight. Frankie Amaya into Drew Yearwood, broken up by Miller. Farias stepping through towards Ruiz, broken up by New York. Loquinhas gets away from Gomez. Oh, and then gets around Arroyo. Omir Fernandez. Cameron Harper. Harper gets it in. Allen does enough to get it to Jordi Alba, and now Ruiz. Campana off of Sean Nealis. Without Busquets, without Messi, who runs the show tonight for Inter Miami?
I think most importantly, Arroyo's got to be the real metronome for this team and just bring composure to them in possession, keep it simple, but also their defensive structure. The New York Red Bulls don't want to possess the ball for a long time, and so Arroyo can also help that defensive shape, keep them compact, and almost flip the script on the New York Red Bulls and say, you know what, you possess the ball a little bit more. You try to dictate the game, which may make them a little bit more uncomfortable.
Red Bulls have about 47% of possession in MLS play so far this year. Miami in the Lionel Messi era up near 60%. Certainly contrasting styles.
But without Messi, it's Campana. And I think Campana needs to be the real target tonight to allow Farias to play off of him, to allow Gomez to run in behind. Messi and Busquets sitting on the bench. Arroyo, Campana, that responsibility falls on their shoulders.
Aviles steps forward, wins it for Miami. Campana, Ruiz, Farias. Oh, does so well to turn away from Reyes. Now Jordi Alba has Campana in the middle, cuts it back towards Gomez, who sends it wide.
Yeah, but this is where Jordi Alba is going to be a huge factor in the game tonight. Playing three in the back allows him the freedom to take risks, bomb forward, but it's coming from a deep line position. So now he's going to allow Gomez and Ruiz to come out of the midfield, time those runs. I think Jordi Alba was in an offside position, but what a fantastic run forward from Jordi Alba early on.
Yeah, coming all the way back, maybe even on Farias early on in that move forward.
It's amazing, isn't it? No Busquets on the field. How's their balance? How's their spacing? I mean, it's just a lot of this. I get it, Messi, Busquets, but Tata Martino's been a huge part to this team now. All of a sudden, having a ton of confidence with the ball at their feet.
Wonderful turn from Campana. Gomez was offside. The flag is up as he involved himself in the play without touching the ball. And fair to say that tonight, more than any other match, we're really going to see Tata Martino
Yes, we are.
at work.
Couldn't agree with you more. We're even seeing, look at Gomez playing as a right winger. I think that's a tactical move from Tata Martino to force Tolkien to defend deeper, to not allow him the freedom to bomb forward. Both Harper and Tolkien, when the Red Bulls are playing their way, they love to bomb forward. But now Tolkien all of a sudden expected Gomez to be through the middle. He's playing on the right. Right is similar to Kremaski against Nashville. Now all of a sudden Tolkien in the back of his mind thinking Gomez is there on the break. Little things like that help your team push the tempo in their favor without the greatest player in the world on the field.
That was interesting. We asked John Tolkien about being a left back, playing against Lionel Messi, who usually takes up at least his starting spot on kind of the right side of the attack. And he did acknowledge he might not be able to go forward as much as he normally does. Might be more Cameron Harper going forward. Well, even without Lionel Messi in there to begin tonight, still maybe limiting John Tolkien's ability to push forward. Second straight start for Tomas Aviles. Started in the Open Cup semifinal, went 78 minutes against Cincinnati, his debut for Inter Miami. 19-year-old from Argentina. Farias leaving for Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba into the middle. Coronel will come and collect.
Well, I think Harper's given a yellow here in the late challenge on Jordi Alba. Because Jordi Alba delivers that ball, studs up from Harper coming through the left foot of Jordi Alba. Studs up here, late challenge, absolutely.
And a set piece now for Inter Miami, 10 minutes in. Jordi Alba is starting a sixth straight for Inter Miami. Debuted a little bit later than Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets. Doesn't quite have the minutes on his legs that the duo does. It will be Robert Taylor to serve for Inter Miami. Goes short to Noah Allen. Allen clips it in, awkwardly off of Yearwood, and it's a corner for Inter Miami, the first of this match.
Well, and Jordi Alba has given Robert Taylor a little bit of an earful, because in that spot, any kind of delivery with pace in front of the goalkeeper allows for a little bit of confusion, deflection on goal. That almost played into the hands of the New York Red Bulls defending them. Now
Taylor will take the corner. This time drives it in. Edelman heads it away only as far as Jordi Alba. David Ruiz. Gonna still go and then gives it away. Harper for New York. Oh, nifty to get away from Gomez, but Ruiz there to recover. Facundo Farias. Over the head of Gomez.
For the 7 games in Leagues Cup, Inter Miami scored in the first 10 minutes. Good start from the New York Red Bulls, yet it's been more Inter Miami in possession than I expected. I expected a little bit more high pressure from the New York Red Bulls, making them uncomfortable. Inter Miami have not looked uncomfortable tonight.
You expect those possession stats given the tactical setups of these two teams. Yearwood takes it away. Luquinhas gets away from Aviles. Frankie Amaya. Alan Chapman plays advantage for New York. Edelman. Fernandez. Tolkien gives it away. Gets back on it, does really well to find Yearwood. Then the combination play. Tolkien's brought down. Red Bulls earn a set piece.
Well, Tolkien's going to have to pick and choose the right moments to get forward, but when he can, just very quick, uses space as well, technically very composed, but how about that 1-2 touch passing in and around the Inter Miami defenders, now drawing a dangerous set piece here for the New York Red Bulls.
Little bit after as well on John Tolkien. Stepped on by David Ruiz. Miami has been vulnerable off set pieces in MLS play, but we also saw it in Leagues Cup play. They allowed 5 goals 5 non-penalty goals off set pieces in 7 games in Leagues Cup, the most of any team in the tournament. New York goes quick. Amaya floating, back post. Miller heads it away. Harper and Gomez chasing after it. Cameron Harper now serving it in. Again, it's Miller, but it's New York's first corner of the night.
Carlos Cornell has come about 80 yards from his goal to have a conversation with Omir Fernandez and Frankie Amaya. He must be seeing something with their defensive structure, and maybe it's Frankie Amaya is defending too deep. Fernandez can push a little bit higher. But interesting to see what setup he saw and what tactical switch is going to be made.
Tolkien serves it in. Miami gets it clear. Harper knocks it down. Campana playing it first time forward. Edelman rises up, doesn't get it clear though. Ruiz, Arroyo.
I saw a little bit of it in the semifinal against FC Cincinnati, but Facundo Farias looks really different. He's got an extra step, he's dynamic. So many scouts over in Europe talking about how he looks like Carlos Tevez, the ability to play in multiple ways. Just 16 goals, 9 assists since 2020 in Argentina, but just a different element to this Inter Miami attack.
20-year-old Argentinian youth international. Previous career with Cologne in Argentina. Signed on July 29th, debuted as a sub against Cincinnati in the Open Cup. Ended up going 62 minutes because that game went to extra time. He had an interesting quote when arriving in Miami and asked about himself as a player. He said, "I don't identify with Leo, I identify with Neymar. I'm an aggressive midfielder, always moving forward." He said Leo is the idol of all Argentines. But as a player, he would compare himself to the Brazilian Neymar.
It's a good thing his residence just changed to Miami, Florida. I'm not sure any Argentine should say that.
I think he waited. I think he waited until the visa came through.
I can promise you one thing: Messi's going to be in his ear about that one. Nah, he's good friends with Neymar. Everyone on Twitter is going to tell me otherwise right now. I'm just surprised that the line of confrontation from the New York Red Bulls is not as high.
They said they weren't going to compromise their principles at all. Troy Lesesne very adamant about focusing on themselves and doing what they do. As Reyes looked like he brought down Campana. Alan Chapman lets that play on. Too far for Farias. Troy Lesesne, New York's head coach, did talk about the first 15-20 minutes of this match. Pointed out Cincinnati in the Open Cup, Nashville in the Leagues Cup final as teams that handled that well, that set the tone. He said other teams, maybe they weren't as engaged, maybe they were a little bit distracted by the spectacle. Boom, all of a sudden down a goal. Early goals had been the staple of Inter Miami in the Lionel Messi era. So far, New York, with Messi and Busquets on the bench, have managed to avoid one to this point. Here is Luquinhas. Can New York score first? Luquinhas into Arroyo, out for another corner.
Well, the most difficult part for the New York Red Bulls in 2023 is putting the ball in the back of the net. All 3 designated players combined, only 3 goals, 2 assists. And yet the underlying metrics will tell you they create a ton of chances.
Amaya floating it in. Campana heads it away. Now, the Red Bulls have scored just 23 goals so far this season. That's fourth fewest in MLS. Oh, that is a strong, violent challenge from Aviles. It's a yellow card, and it's a really dangerous set piece upcoming for the Red Bulls.
Well, Luquinhas does a wonderful job of just getting Aviles off balance, diving in, top of the 18. He's saying he got the ball, but it doesn't matter. He still goes through that left leg of Luquinhas. What a dangerous set piece here for the New York Red Bulls.
The Red Bulls scored their lone goal last week against DC. On a free kick from a similar area. John Tolkien went around the wall and into the near post. Can the 21-year-old left back do it again? U.S. international, member of the Gold Cup squad this summer, an all-star for the first time this summer.
But last week against DC United, Tyler Miller of DC United didn't set up the wall right. Drake Callender's done so here.
Here is John Tolkien. It's into the wall this time. Tolkien, one of several homegrown players on this New York Red Bulls team, the youngest team in Major League Soccer by average age of starting 11s so far. That is their ethos, that is their plan. Bring players through the academy, bring them to the first team. A club that in the past, Thierry Henry, Rafa Marquez, Lothar Matthäus going way back when they were known as the Metro Stars. Different type of organization at this point.
Well, think about it. We had Mike Pecky on our 360 countdown show, and that's when it all started. Thierry Henry, Rafa Marquez, Tim Cahill, supporter shield. Then it went on to Bradley Wright Phillips, Sasha Klushtin, Jesse Marsh. 13 straight years making the playoffs, and yet I think Red Bull fans would agree with me. It's just lacking that little bit of edge. But it's not a system thing. They create a ton of chances. It's just this version of this New York Red Bulls team, too many square pegs and round holes right now.
Let's go down pitch side. Katie Witham, who is hearing from the Red Bulls bench.
Moments ago, Taylor mentioned he's surprised that New York's line isn't being held higher. Well, from what I've heard from the bench, they're surprised that it's not higher too. In fact, everything I'm hearing is energy up, keep the pressure up. Lots of reminders coming from their head coach to hold that line higher. When they lose possession, they want immediate pressure. At times, it seems they feel like they're a step or two behind right now, guys.
Yeah, I see it, Katie. I can see it. I think Carlos Coronel, that's exactly why he came up, to relay the message to both Frankie Amaya and Omir Fernandez. If Katie's hearing that on the side, and I'm seeing it from up here, Jake, already just being, they're now not playing the game, they're playing the moment. And
Right.
Messi and Busquets aren't even on the field.
And look, Troy Lesesne was aware of that possibility coming into this game. He told us, we don't want to come out of this game, take a loss, and feel like we were passive, we weren't ourselves. He said that would be the biggest letdown of all. And he said, I think the group would be disappointed in me as a leader if that were what were to happen. So the messaging was certainly to be themselves heading into this game, as Drew Yearwood has called for a foul. Maybe 20, now 23 minutes in, hasn't quite been up to what Troy Lesesne would have wanted from his
the
guys.
staples of the Red Bull system around the world, no matter where you are, is immediately when the ball turns over, can you put pressure on them? Can you turn them over? And then when you do, how quickly can you go forward? It's got to be under 7 seconds is their fundamental thought. Tonight we've seen a much more pragmatic approach, and yet they've been so dominant at home since 2010 in this building.
It's been a fortress, and that coincides with that playoff streak. 13 seasons in a row, the longest streak in MLS history, is an active streak. Below the playoff line now, work to do to make it 14. Luquinhas trying to get around Taylor. Luquinhas cuts it back, floats it to the back post. Nobody there for New York.
Well, there's going to be growing pains with some of these young players for Inter Miami. And Aviles is going through that on a yellow, so now he's not providing the cover for Taylor in behind. He's kind of stuck in no man's land. Immediately when this ball's played out, Arroyo's coming over, asking for a little bit more commitment from Aviles in those defensive one-on-one moments. They got to get Robert Taylor going forward a little bit more, defending too deep. Luquinha's doing a good job of forcing Robert Taylor to defend first and attack second.
Nice layoff from Gomez to Taylor. Allen to Jordi Alba, who will come forward. David Ruiz misplays it. Cameron Harper starting a 12th straight at right back. Spent 4 seasons with Celtic, mostly in their academy. Former U.S. international, turned down a scholarship to play at UCLA, play college ball to go join Celtic's academy. Now back in the U.S. with the Red Bulls and having his most sustained success in his 3rd season as a week in, week out starter at right back. Tolkien tried to float it to Amaya. It's given away. Ruiz. Jordi Alba. Facundo Farias. Gets away from Reyes at the byline, and then Reyes does enough to see it out for a goal kick.
Fantastic defending here from Reyes. Just sliding over, understanding the space where he is. Farias has real pace. He's dynamic, good with both feet. It's never been about the potential for Reyes. It's always been about, can he be, for an entire season, the real leader on the back line. I think Troy Lesesne and the New York Red Bulls will tell you they found themselves a center back.
Formerly of Inter Miami, spent 2020 with Inter Miami. Came to New York the next year. An investigation found he should have been designated. A designated player, was not. Inter Miami, also for Blaise Matuidi, sent under sanctions. And Reyes and the Red Bulls back line, and Sean Nealis will have another set piece to deal with.
Yeah, but great work there from Diego Gomez. What's the confusion here? Is he given a throw-in?
Yeah, it looked like it was.
So there's no foul on the tackle from Nealis. He's saying it's a throw-in, and yet I think Gomez is the one that kicked the ball out of bounds.
It'll be an Inter Miami throw in the end. Taylor into Gomez. Arroyo. Gomez. A lot of room now. And there is a player down in the corner as a ton of confusion continuing on the pitch at Red Bull Arena. Alan Chapman, I believe, called a foul, and this now will be a set piece for Inter Miami.
Well, the studs were shown from Amaya, right? So he's coming through. I think the frustration is the play before that, whether or not it was a foul or not from Nealis on Gomez, but that one, I don't think there's any argument.
I think Miami also wouldn't have been upset to play advantage in that moment, but they're going to get a set piece out of this in the end.
So it was Robert Taylor on the other side with an in-swinging ball. Here it is, left-footed from Noah Allen.
19-year-old Noah Allen into a dangerous spot and eventually sent wide.
I don't mind this ball here. Just drive it low and hard on that near post. Facundo Farias getting near post. Arroyo, Kamal Miller, Campana just attacking the goal in front of Cornell. You have to remind the viewers, though, the New York Red Bulls have only given up this year 62 shots on goal.
The fewest of any team in MLS.
That's an unbelievable number. That's in what, 24 games?
Just over 2 a game, 2.5.
The problem is they're not scoring goals on the other end to make use of that.
4th fewest goals scored in MLS, and the 4th best goals against average in the league. And that's why they're still in it, and they're only 3 points below the playoff line. Campana, Jordi Alba into space for David Ruiz. It's a 3-on-3 if Miami go quick enough. Ruiz doesn't get it right, trying to play Campana through.
Yeah, but that's the next evolution for Ruiz and where he is. He's got to make the right pass in the right moment. Those are things that Busquets has been working with him. Tata Martino, very mobile, good sense into space, but he's got to make the right ball in the right time.
Manuel, nobody on the back post again from New York, and the offside flag then comes up.
Well, Manuel in his 2nd year from Brazil, that is extremely close. If that had turned into anything, I'm not sure Manuel's in an offside position. But last year in 360 minutes, he scored 2 goals. This year in 1,100 minutes, he's got 2 goals. Goals hard to come by for their number 9 up front.
Callender out of his box to head it forward to midfield. Harper cutting inside. Frankie Amaya. Yearwood, Edelman. Amaya steps away from Campana, back to Tolkien.
See, the thing is, they do have young players that can possess the ball in Amaya and Edelman. And so if they want to possess the ball a little bit more, albeit it's against their DNA and really who they are, they've got a couple young players that can do so.
Luquinhas' flag was down, and it did stay down. And Luquinhas couldn't get on the end of it. It's out for a goal kick.
What a great run this is from Luquinhas, because if you're going to play a high line and try to make it congested, see, Luquinhas in an offside position in that one. Manuel was not in the previous play. But good idea from Nealis. Your 2 center backs of the New York Red Bulls trying to play through Inter Miami can be tough at times. Why not play over the top? Good ball forward from Nealis.
Luquinhas, a designated player, attacker for New York, just 1 goal, 1 assist this year. Goals have been hard to come by for the Red Bulls. Luquinhas does really well, though, to win it back.
Campana's got to give Inter Miami a little bit more. I know he's coming off 120 minutes in the U.S. Open Cup semifinal, but Tata Martino begging for him to be a little bit more proactive with some of the direct play from either Robert Taylor or Avalos.
Edelman is fouled.
We want Messi.
Getting a little antsy, aren't they? There he is, Lionel Messi, as Joseph Martinez gives him a little smile. The other Inter Miami reserves begin warming up. Will we see them tonight? Will they make their Major League Soccer regular season debuts? Sold out Red Bull Arena. Yearwood battling with Taylor, or rather with Aviles. Now it's Taylor who will just dump it forward. Nealis towards Edelman. Gomez on it. Reyes sends it back. Luquinhas. Still Luquinhas. Promising for New York. Through for Yearwood. Yearwood cuts it back. Oh, it's missed. A sitter for Omer Fernandez. And he puts it wide.
That tells you exactly how 2023 has gone for the New York Red Bulls. Great ball forward from Luquinhas coming inside. Manuel comes near post. It pulls the defenders away. That has to be a goal at this level. Omer Fernandez. And about the 26,000 plus in this building. Should be 1-0 New York Red Bulls.
Pressure from New York. Callender gets it forward to Harper. Harper, Amaya. Edelman tries to get it back to Amaya. Arroyo breaks it up. Campana. Farias might be through. Reyes chasing. All over him. And foul, free kick won by Miami.
At one point, Reyes was the next upcoming Jamison Alave, the big, strong, physical center back that's smart, that can defend in open space. Inter Miami were raving about Reyes, but they had to move on from him. How about that recovery run? Facundo Farias was by him by a step or two. Now the touch takes him away from it. Just fantastic open field defending from Reyes. Yeah, see, now it's Jordi Alba. I was surprised to see Noah Allen take the first one.
Big spot for a 19-year-old. Now the more experienced, cultured left foot of Jordi Alba floating it in. Coronel punching it clear. Taylor. Here is Noah Allen. Gomez settles, scores! Messi loves it from the bench. The 20-year-old Diego Gomez with his first goal in pink, and Inter Miami take the lead in New York.
The composure here from Robert Taylor. Cornell deals with the first ball in. The second phase of defending a set piece. Deliver it wide. Everybody from the New York Red Bulls worried about pushing the line forward, but forgetting about the space behind them. Diego Gomez, first touch, second one in the back of the net. No Lionel Messi, no Busquets, no problem. Inter Miami 1, New York Red Bulls 0.
Tata Martino, Inter Miami's manager, gives Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets a rest, starting them on the bench for the first time since July 21st. It does not matter. Inter Miami, for an 8th time in their last 9 games, score first. Now Gomez into the middle. They're looking for a second. Jordi Alba. Miami will be patient as they send it back to the center backs. Now Robert Taylor. Allen, Alba trying to get behind Cameron Harper. Edelman misplayed it. Gomez turns out to Taylor. Red Bulls move towards Calendar. Now Taylor trying to get around Tolkien. It's a throw for New York. Amaya loses it. Allen coming forward. Miami have numbers. Noah Allen straight up the middle. A little bit wide. Now in towards Campana. Campana settles, tries to turn. Campana! And it's right at Coronel in the end.
Well, Campana turning something out of nothing there. Allen has to play Farias in a better spot. He gets in that spot. Now it takes him too wide. But how about Campana here? Just pulling the defender in a bad spot. Good touch here. Massive 2 goals in the Open Cup semifinal. It's been a quiet first half tonight. Yet Inter Miami lead 1-0.
He did not score in Leagues Cup. Started the Leagues Cup opener, then off the bench in the next 6. Started in the Open Cup on Wednesday in the semifinal of brace, including one at the death of regulation to send it to extra time. Gets the start again tonight with Joseph Martinez beginning on the bench. Tolkien. Fernandez. Edelman behind Harper. Tolkien drifted over to the right side. New York lose it, win it right back.
Yeah, but see, that's better. That's how New York Red Bulls play. You lose the ball, immediately put pressure, turn them over, now regain it and try to get forward.
Luquinhas isolated with Robert Taylor. Luquinhas. Fernandez off of Ruiz. Shouts for a handball. Alan Chapman gives it. Penalty for New York.
Well, the debate here is where's the right arm of Ruiz? It's in his body, but he will turn his body, and the indication is that he moves the right shoulder into the play. That's what the referee sees. So when this ball is striked here, does he come into it? That's a difficult one. That is extremely difficult. For me, that's not a handball. One, it's really close with the proximity to the shot being taken. Two, the arm's in a natural position. Does he turn? Yes. Does he maybe make a flinch into it? Is it clear and obvious not a handball? That's what VAR is going to have to determine here. But with the nuance of the handball laws, that's a tough look for me, because I don't think Ruiz really makes an indication in a play with his right arm. For me, this is not a penalty.
Alan Chapman is going to the monitor. The video assistant referee, Jeff Gamble, calling Alan Chapman to the monitor for a video review. And I think Jeff Gamble, Taylor, probably seeing the same thing in Atlanta in the video review headquarters that you're seeing here.
I mean, what we don't even know is this ball may have hit him in the side, not even into the arm. But I think turning that quickly, I think that's difficult.
Quick check from Alan Chapman. No penalty after video review.
But this is why from the moment it was introduced, I was a fan of VAR.
It was quick, it was efficient, and the call in the end, the correct one.
Exactly. Give me the correct call. Now, the debate is always going to be, if it's clear and obvious, it shouldn't take longer than 30 seconds. And all of us watching the beautiful game around the world have seen many instances where it has. But that's why VAR was introduced, because that initial call from Alan Chapman was the wrong one, and the right call's made. Now, the question is, this should be a corner, no?
New York is at the least asking for the ball.
Well, no, if the ball is shot off of Ruiz, where did the ball end up going?
It didn't go out for
it didn't go
corner.
out.
Yeah. And New York says we should get the ball back. And Drake Callender dumps it forward. Doesn't quite seed it back to New York. David Ruiz was initially shown a yellow card by Alan Chapman for what he thought was the handball. That was rescinded after the video review. two-time MLS Referee of the Year in 2017 and 2019, Alan Chapman. Miami was offside. There will be a minimum 2 minutes of added time in this first half.
First half stoppage time. 45 minutes, my man, but finally we hear the Red Bull crowd.
It had been messy. The chants that were audible for the beginning of this half, for most of this half, and the Let's Go Red Bulls chants now strike up in first half stoppage time, which will begin with a Red Bulls corner.
The set piece is still an issue for Inter Miami. Big reason why Campana's in here. So now Taylor and Campana will defend that near post.
Drake Callender talked to us pretty openly before the Leagues Cup final about the fact that they're not an overly big team. Campana gives them more of that than if it's Joseph Martinez starting up top. The corner played short. Yearwood.
Oh, good defending.
Campana, the striker, putting in the defensive work and out for a throw.
This Miami team is in last place of Major League Soccer. No Messi, no Busquets. And they have looked completely confident and comfortable with their new surroundings and the new players and the new system. Unbeaten in their last 8, and yet in the MLS regular season, they're winless in their last 11.
Long throw from John Tolkien, flicked on and handled by Drake Callender. Is it a Messi effect that even when he's not in the game, and a Busquets effect that's rubbing up? Is it Tata Martino? There are 4 players starting today that weren't on their roster a month ago when Jordi Alba and the 3 young guys from South America. Why do they still look so much better with Messi and Busquets on the bench?
I'll take D, all the above.
Yeah.
All the above.
All of the above, a positive first half for Inter Miami. Diego Gomez's first goal for Miami, the lone one of this half. And despite Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets beginning this game on the bench, Inter Miami lead at halftime 1-0. Katie Witham with New York head coach Troy Lesesne.
Troy, what was your assessment of your side's first 45, and what do you have to change in the second?
Yeah, I thought we could play with a little bit more composure. I think we gave the ball away a little bit too easily. And when we pressed and we were together, I thought we disrupted their play. But we have to improve in both those areas if we're going to come back in this game.
Appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Voice lifted, their voice heard. Tom Barlow is going to enter for the New York Red Bulls to begin the second half, which once again, this is becoming a tradition on the road. Inter Miami is making the Red Bulls wait. Peter Stroud also coming on for the Red Bulls, who make 2 changes at the half. We've seen this in every away game. The home team's out, they're ready. Meanwhile, Inter Miami takes their time coming out of the locker room as Jordi Alba and Drake Callender lead the team in pink through the red and onto the pitch here at Red Bull Arena. Lionel Messi beginning this match on the bench for Inter Miami. Sergio Busquets as well, after starting 7 in a row. This is Inter Miami's 9th match in 36 days since Lionel Messi joined the team, and their 7th in 25 days since the knockout round of the Leagues Cup began. Messi and Busquets take their seats again on the bench to begin the second half. Will we see them make their Major League Soccer regular season debuts tonight? The second half is underway at Red Bull Arena. Inter Miami and the New York Red Bulls. Inter Miami leading 1-0 as we start the second half. Red Bulls in their 3rd kits, the freestyle kits. Miami in all pink immediately. Tom Barlow trying to make an impact after coming into the match. Luquinhas now. Miller defends it well. Taylor tries to send it forward. Still maybe there for New York. Edelman. Over to John Tolkin. New York will be slightly uncharacteristically patient in this moment as Luquinhas is not fouled. Alan Chapman says play on. Red Bulls win it right back though. Amaya to Tolkin. Aviles steps in. Arroyo knocks it forward. Campana flicking it on. Farias chasing Reyes, who goes back to Coronel. Campana pressuring Coronel, who gets it away. Taylor, the two changes for New York. Barlow, Stroud on, Manuel Yearwood off. What does that do to change the Red Bulls?
I think energy. I think more proactive than reactive. Too much of that was from the New York Red Bulls. Barlow's going to run. He's going to put pressure on the back line of Inter Miami.
Already making an impact, Fernandez. They just don't get it right. A microcosm of this season for the Red Bulls attack.
But look at the energy. Already Barlow, Stroud, New York Red Bulls looking completely different than the first 45.
Cameron Harper over Barlow. Callender will catch.
That's why I was as perplexed as anyone in that first 45. If there's one thing that the New York Red Bulls are going to do is be on the front foot, go for it, knowing that this man's going to turn the heads of everyone in the building in the second half. But the first 45, they looked like a deer in headlights, and there was no reason to be that because the system is bigger than any part of this 11 and of this roster. Much better start to this second half from Troy Lesesne and the New York Red Bulls.
And they will see whether out of the corner of their collective eye, Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets up to warm up as this second half gets underway. He's only come off the bench once for Inter Miami. It was on his debut against Cruz Azul. Has started 7 in a row since.
He looked tired against Cincinnati.
Can you blame him?
So did Busquets. No, absolutely not. And so I feel for the fans that are in this building that have paid that hard-earned money to see this. But the truth of it is Miami has to protect him sometimes from himself, even though Tata Martino will tell me there's only one player in his life that tells him when he plays and when he doesn't. He's wearing number 10 tonight in pink.
He's earned that.
But you got to be smart. You got to recognize what the entire project is. Here you are in the 49th minute. You've got a 1-goal lead on the road. So far, so good from Inter Miami. But there's about 26 of the 28,000 in the building right now screaming, "We want Messi."
Cameron Harper into the middle. Miller sends it back behind his own goal, and it will be a corner for the Red Bulls in the 50th minute.
So much better from the New York Red Bulls on the front foot. We've seen more from Harper. We've seen more from the two subs and Barlow and Stroud than anything we saw in the first half. And yet they keep getting it wrong at the worst times. Omer Fernandez easily should have a goal and assist in 50 minutes.
Instead, it's Diego Gomez, the lone goal of this match for Miami, who lead 1-0. Tolkin takes the Red Bulls corner. It was a dangerous ball, and he'll get to do it again.
Miami just doesn't look sure of themselves defending set pieces. Campana and Kamal Miller, the most important players in this moment.
Tolkin this time to the back post. Callender pushing it over. Great save by Drake Callender off the head of Omer Fernandez.
It's a great idea from John Tolkin. He saw Campana and Kamal Miller move to the near post, so deliver it to the back post. Great header here. Little touch from Drake Callender. Again, coming up huge on Omer Fernandez.
He was spectacular in Leagues Cup, Drake Callender, goalkeeper of the tournament. Picking up that form in MLS play as Tolkien again sends it in. Clearance only as far as Harper. Campana knocks it down. Farias back to Arroyo. Knocks it forward. Edelman there for New York. Stroud winning it back for the Red Bulls. Daniel Edelman, the captain of the U.S. Under-20 team at the Under-20 World Cup in Argentina this year. Fernandez gets away from Allen, and then Arroyo takes that away clean. Noah Allen stepping away from Edelman. Farias.
How good is that from Noah Allen? Tired legs on Jordi Alba. He's going to have to put in the work on this left side, providing that cover and balance, but then can it be an outlet out of that pressure? The pressure really causing problems for Miami at the start of this second half.
Let's go down to the pitch. Katie with him.
Well, Taylor, you just mentioned tired legs on Jordi Alba, and that's exactly what Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets had to admit to their manager, Tata Martino. Heavy legs. That's why they started on the bench. It's been interesting being on the sideline, watching those two guys in particular in the first half on the bench, glued to the action, sitting on the edge. It looked painful for them not to be on the field, itching to be in, and the biggest smile on Lionel Messi's face as he stood up and ran down, or walked at a faster pace to start warming up. The reception he got, and while he's been down there warming, guys, every minute he can, he is in on this action on the field.
And there is no doubt he is engaged. He is happy. He said so himself in many interviews a week and a half ago. And you know he is most happy on the pitch. Someone who does not like to sit on the bench. Luquinhas now for New York. From distance, Callender will make the save on Daniel Edelman.
Well, New York Red Bull fans are wondering, why didn't this start at 7:39 Eastern time tonight? On the front foot, put pressure on a tired team, on a squad that's been rotated, unsure of themselves collectively at times. This is the New York Red Bulls I expected to see in the first half. Now we've got it at the beginning of the second half. Miami looking a little uncomfortable early on here.
Is it imperative, essential, that New York get a goal before Lionel Messi comes into this game?
The obvious answer is yes. I don't know if Messi's coming into this game unless New York Red Bulls ask a few more questions of this back line. Drake Callender has to make a few more saves. I think Tata Martino's in this predicament. Do I play Messi for 20+ minutes tonight, or do I let the game dictate whether or not I play him? Either way, the New York Red Bulls play the game. You're down 1-0. Get the next goal. Otherwise, this one's out of hand. I just hope the 28,000 in this building didn't hear me say he may not play.
They'd be pretty upset with your line. Is the chance of "we want Messi" continue from Red Bull Arena. Campana gets it wrong, trying to find Gomez. Luquinhas still going, and Alan Chapman finally brings it back for the foul.
You know, the more I watch Luquinhas, I'm just curious why he doesn't play more in the middle. There's a dynamism to him that's hard to replicate with anyone else with the New York Red Bulls. And when you play him wide left, he favors his right foot. I get that, so he's coming inside. Why not play him almost as a second forward underneath?
He was the midfielder of the season in Poland in the 2020-2021 year. Calendar year for that league. So he certainly is a player with a big ability in the attack. The Red Bulls continue to ask questions of Miami.
Harper's done a good job in this second half of trying to force Jordi Alba to defend. It's now pushed Kamal Miller wide left. providing that cover and balance. We've seen very little from Tolkien getting forward, but Harper in this second half having a huge impact on the attack of the New York Red Bulls.
Again, the Red Bulls win it right back. Stroud is brought down. Alan Chapman says play on. Miami trying to find Campana behind. Reyes is able to get it away in the end, and Edelman helps it forward. Fernandez chesting it over to Barlow. Robert Taylor read that well. Sent forward towards Tolkien. Avulus there. Oh, what a tackle from John Tolkien. Can New York take advantage? Tolkien floating it in. Allen heading it away only as far as Luquinhas. Edelman clipping it towards Barlow. Barlow, what a save! Drake Callender. He does it again for Inter Miami. And now the break on. Jordi Alba, big ball forward. Furias with Campana in the middle. Campana the back heel. Jordi Alba keeps it in play momentarily. And out for a goal kick.
What a big-time save that was from Drake Callender, but the New York Red Bulls are all over Inter Miami at the moment. And Tata Martino and his staff looking at that scene. And to my surprise, DeAndre Yedlin, Sergio Busquets, Lionel Messi are being brought all over from all indications to come into this game.
Farias, the step over, rather it's Gomez the step over, brought down. Alan Chapman says play on. Well, we will see Lionel Messi in New York tonight. In the bright lights, the biggest city in the United States. Just across the river from Manhattan, from Times Square, Lionel Messi set to make his Major League Soccer regular season debut. Cameron Harper for New York. Cutting it back away from Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba does well to recover and allow Noah Allen to sweep it forward. Amaya. Tolkien. Tolkien to the back post. Jordi Alba concedes the corner.
It's truly amazing. Cruz Azul, all indications were 15, 20 minutes. How many minutes did he play?
Yeah, it was about this much. Actually more that night. I think it was 34 in the end.
Tonight, all indications were 10 to 15. Yep. Busquets barely even trained yesterday, if at all.
You said it. He makes the decision, doesn't he?
Well, and I think Tata knows that New York's all over him, so he's bringing in 3 of his most veteran players.
Tolkien's corner bounces around, out for a goal kick. And for the second time in his Inter Miami career, Lionel Messi will come on as a substitute. So the first 3 Inter Miami changes, Sergio Busquets, DeAndre Yedlin, and Lionel Messi come on for Leonardo Campana, David Ruiz, and Robert Taylor. Normally after substitutions, Taylor, I ask you, how does this change the game? I don't think I need to ask that tonight.
No, you don't, but I will point out something. The right leg of DeAndre Yedlin is really taped and strapped. There's a right sleeve on that leg. Busquets had real tired legs in the last 35, 40 minutes of that Open Cup semifinal against Cincinnati. I think the Red Bulls and their high pressure could cause issues there. And I think it was smart from Tata Martino to say, you know what, take Campana off, Messi comes on, just be a threat and a reason to keep that defense accountable.
Luquinhas sends it over. There's DeAndre Yedlin, who had started 8 in a row since July 21st, since the beginning of Leagues Cup. He was one of 4 players to do so. Kamal Miller and Drake Callender now the only players on Miami that have started all 9 matches since that Leagues Cup opener. Sergei Krivtsov, the other who had started 8, not even in the team today getting a rest, but Lionel Messi, 10 goals, 3 assists in 8 games. His scoring streak broken on Wednesday in the U.S. Open Cup semifinal. He just had 2 assists in that game to lead Miami. Now here he is on the ball in New York for the first time tonight. Reyes read that well. That is a corner. Noah Allen let it run out, but it came off a Miami player initially. First time Lionel Messi came off the bench for Miami against Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul actually scored pretty much right after Messi came on to make it 1-1. Can the Red Bulls do the same? Flicked on and then cleared. Not out of danger and just wide from Amaya.
Well, you can feel the energy of the building completely change. The expectation change, but some of that is because the New York Red Bulls have been on the front foot in this second half. Troy Lesesne and his staff going into that locker room, making sure that everyone understands the principles of who the New York Red Bulls are. That's being on the front foot, making Miami turn the ball over in their defensive third, and then immediately trying to find an opportunity off that play.
Miami has had 2 wonderful opportunities in this match. Homer Fernandez, basically a sitter that he put wide. Tom Barlow in on Drake Callender, who made a spectacular save. Miami, though, the 1 goal through Diego Gomez. It's been the story of New York's season, underperforming the chances they create. Over 8 fewer goals scored than their expected goal total on the year. The 3rd worst team at underperforming their expected goals in MLS this season. Harper gets around Jordi Alba. Callender catches.
And all of that is a way of saying what? They struggle in the final third.
Yep.
Final decision, final ball. Just lacking the composure, lacking the right touch, but that's where Troy Lesesne or any manager for that matter would say it's not the system. The players are being given opportunities, they're just not taking them.
So if it's not the system, it's the players? Is that the conclusion?
Absolutely, and that's on the front office and Red Bull Global to fix that situation. You've got to go out and find the right players for this system, because the system so far analytically has shown you that it's providing opportunities for success. I mean, Jake, you've only got 3 goals, 2 assists from your designated players combined.
Leading scorer, Frankie Amaya, 4 goals in MLS play. And he scored those 4 goals in the 5 MLS games before Leagues Cup. Their expected goals against, it makes for a team that He's third best in MLS in expected goal differential, but they're just 21st of 29 heading into this weekend total points. It's been the problem for New York and Troy Lesesne this season. Here's somebody they hope can make a change in the goal scoring category. Corey Burke will come on for Frankie Amaya. It's a striker for a midfielder. Burke just 2 goals this year, 7 a year ago in Philadelphia. Jamaican international Corey Burke coming on to try to help New York find a goal. Messi slides it to Arroyo, leaves it for Messi, gets it over to Jordi Alba, back to Messi. Jordi Alba coming forward, was looking for Messi, and Nealis was there for New York. The last time Lionel Messi came on as a sub in this building in Red Bull Arena was 11 months ago for Argentina in a friendly against Jamaica. He scored 2 goals off the bench. Argentina won 3-0. Here's Messi. Gomez. Farias. DeAndre Yedlin. Messi. Tries to get it into Farias. Reyes is there. Busquets. Messi settling. Can he get on it? It might still be there for him, and Sean Nealis defended it well in the end.
Just floating into those spaces that ask questions of any center back partnership. There's just conversation about Messi walking and all the analytics, but he's constantly moving. He's not running around with his head cut off. He's just constantly trying to put you in a bad spot. But the moment you get caught ball watching, he's going the other way. Look at that goal in the Leagues Cup final against Nashville. For 34 seconds, he stood at midfield on the sideline next to Tata Martino. And 18 seconds later, he scores one of the best goals you'll ever see.
Here he is. Farias. Backheel towards Messi, broken up by Harper. Arroyo on it. All that walking, it is intentional. It is done with a purpose.
You know when you watch toddlers play the game, and they're always just little bunched up going around?
I do.
And then you watch those toddlers play, and there's always one player, he or she, hanging out, waiting for the ball to pop out. Messi's made one heck of a career doing that for 36 years, huh? 817 goals later.
He's probably doing the same thing at Grandoli in his early days in Rosario. Jordi Alba. Back to Farias. There's space now for Miami behind Messi.
But in all seriousness, I don't say that jokingly. There is something to that. David Ruiz before the Leagues Cup final. What's the advice that Messi's given you since he's come here? He said, walk more. Walk more. The game will come to you. The ball will come to you.
You can see the game better, huh? Don't know if there's anybody that sees it better than Lionel Messi.
I'll tell you right now, walking did nothing for my career.
That wasn't a staple of your game, was it? Callender outside of his box for a second time tonight to head it forward. Marquinhos draws the foul taken down by Busquets. Began the night on the bench. Came on in the 60th minute. Lionel Messi with Miami up 1-0. John Tolkien floats it into the box. Miller heads it away. Harper, Busquets knows where Messi is at all times. One touch to him. Now Yedlin towards Farias. Tolkien gets there first. Tata Martino will make his 4th change of the night. He'll bring off Facundo Farias and he'll bring on Benjamin Cremaschi.
Your attention, please. Inter Miami substitution. Enter the match in the 72nd minute. Number 30.
The 20-year-old Farias out for the 18-year-old Cremaschi. For more on the 18-year-old from Miami, down to the pitch to Katie Witham.
I thought it was interesting, Benja Cremaschi focusing in on the difference he sees within himself just in the last 3-4 weeks of play. He said, not only do I know my role, but I understand what Tata wants. He said, but also I'm looking at the game. I'm reading it in a completely different way. I'm seeing things now that I never saw before. He told me it was almost like putting on new glasses and seeing clearly for the first time. These little spaces and pockets he can get into.
Came off the bench on Wednesday in the Open Cup. An assist on Joseph Martinez's go-ahead goal in stoppage time to make it 3-2. Cincinnati would level that match. Penalty shootout for the 2nd time in a few weeks. Cremaschi makes the 5th and final penalty for Miami. What have you seen, Taylor, from Benjamin Cremaschi now that he's playing alongside Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets?
The willingness and ability to learn, to make mistakes and then grow. Cruz Azul was one of the worst games you'll ever see. Then the next game, immediately having one of the best games. For a young player to have the mental fortitude, but also the accountability to raise your hand and say, listen, I wasn't good enough, I'll be better. I want young players like that on my team, and that bodes well for his career. But also some real stones, taking game-winning penalties in those situations, coming off the bench against FC Dallas.
He has dual eligibility, the United States and Argentina. As Gomez is down for Miami.
I think Tata Martino's doing a hard sell on Argentina right now with Benji Cremaschi.
From Key Biscayne, Florida, but an Argentinian family. Harper going through Gomez. Jordi Alba. Gomez back to Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba cutting it back. That was read well by New York. Jordi Alba trying to sneak up behind Andres Reyes. Got the heads up. Barlow leaves for Edelman. Over to Tolkien. Fernandez. Harper. Busquets pokes it away. Harper back on it. That gets around Busquets this time. Harper takes a deflection. Fernandez. Busquets brings it down. Makes its way to Stroud. Harper again. All the way back to Reyes. Tillman, big switch, tails away and out. Another change now for the Red Bulls, and it will be a debut for Jorge Hurtado, 19-year-old from Colombia, on loan from Watford through the end of this season. Will make his first appearance in New York. Just got into town on Tuesday. On Saturday, he's brought on to try to save things for the Red Bulls. Fernandez, the player, out. Third change of the game from Troy Lesane. Make that the fourth change from Lesane. So both Lesane and Tata Martino have one substitution left tonight. Busquets into Gomez, as well-defined Arroyo. Now Messi. Yedlin. Messi leaves for Busquets. Jordi Alba. Diego Gomez turns away from Reyes. Back to Jordi Alba. Oh, cuts around Hurtado. Switch to Yedlin, who has a ton of time. Yedlin, Kremaski tried to flick it on. Clearance only as far as Arroyo. Kremaski. Busquets. Burke took it away from behind momentarily, and then Miami back on it. Cameron Harper tries to get Burke behind. It comes off Allen. Callender, maybe being careful about using his hands, decides to head it out for a throw.
Well, that's the thing Kamal Miller's got to be worried a little bit about. Is now Corey Burke's a completely different element to this Red Bull attack, so he's going to be vertical. He's good in the air. Both center backs now having to deal with both Barlow and Burke, so Noah Allen's going to be challenged. I wouldn't be shocked if Busquets maybe at times drops in a little deeper to defend, because the last thing you want is Noah Allen trying to have to deal with a ball being whipped in with Burke or Barlow getting on the end of it.
Red Bulls will have a corner. They trail 1-0 in the 80th minute. Ninth corner of the night. Both of these teams in the Eastern Conference playoff hunt. Tolkien floats it in. Miami able to head it clear. Messi does enough. Arroyo forward to Messi. Jordi Alba had to hold his run. Messi looking for Arroyo. Cornell outside of his area. Sends it forward and out for a throw. Well, both of these teams return to MLS action on Wednesday. The Red Bulls travel up to Foxborough to face the New England Revolution at 7:30 Eastern, and Inter Miami returns home for a rematch of the Leagues Cup final versus Nashville SC. Get tickets to that match at MLSsoccer.com/tickets, or watch both matches right here on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Busquets tries to play Messi through. It's broken up. This is the first of 12 regular season MLS matches for Inter Miami before the end of the year. They're 14 points from the playoff line in last place in the East entering this game. unbeaten in 8 since Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets debuted in the Leagues Cup. It would be an improbable run to the playoffs. Certainly, though, not out of the question for this Miami team that has not been beat with Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets on the roster.
And especially with how many of those 12 are against Eastern Conference opponents?
Most of them.
9, right?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. So games like tonight become 6-pointers. I mean, the Red Bulls are 3 points out of a playoff spot, so that tying goal becomes massive for the New York Red Bulls. The problem is, what I'm saying is scoring goals, and that's the biggest issue for this New York Red Bulls team.
This is one of the teams that Inter Miami would have to jump over, in theory, to make the playoffs. For the Red Bulls, Miami is one of the teams they'd have to hold off while also rising up the table. A true 6-pointer tonight in the Eastern Conference playoff race. And thanks to Diego Gomez in the 37th minute before Messi and Busquets entered this game, it is Miami 1, it is Red Bulls 0, and Troy Lesesne trying to keep his team in it after an unforced error just gives it away for a throw. They have had their chances. They've not been able to finish them. And it's been the story of New York's season. And it's been the story of this game tonight. Busquets able to get it over to Yedlin. Messi carrying forward. Still Messi. Tried to get it to Yedlin. Tolkien does well to break it up.
It's amazing how he still glides by defenders, isn't it?
His whole career, even at 36 years old, that change of speed. It's been unstoppable, right, for 2 decades.
But to do it since you were 17, to do it with all the pressure in the world of your country, your club, on your shoulders, to consistently be available. I mean, that's the one thing that, when I talk about Messi and his career, in the games he has started throughout his entire career, he's only been subbed out of the game, Jake, less than 8% of the time.
He loves to play.
But you got to be available. You got to be available. You got to be engaged to do that.
Final 2 changes. Robbie Robinson coming on for Diego Gomez. Wiki Carmona coming on as well. And it's Diego Gomez in the 37th minute, the lone goal of this match.
Yeah, I just love how Diego Gomez staying active, but this is more about the New York Red Bulls not understanding that the second phase of defending that set piece from Inter Miami, you got to push the line, but you got to pick up runners. Diego Gomez wide open with a composed finish.
Wiki Carmona on, Cameron Harper off, the final change for Troy Lesesne in New York. Edelman, Luquinhas, Nealis, Hurtado, Edelman to Tolkien. Chance to cross off of Yedlin. Reyes, Edelman to Luquinhas. Over to Carmona. Around Robinson. Back over to Tolkien. Tolkien off of Kremaski, and Callender will catch. Five minutes plus stoppage time for New York to try to get something out of this game. Barlow gives it away. Robinson. Hurtado steps on Robbie Robinson, takes off his shoe, and is called for the foul. Miller to Messi. Jordi Alba. Forward and around and away from Carmona, floating into the back post. An important touch from Coronel with Robinson lurking. Busquets, Messi in his sweet spot. Chooses not to have a go yet. Draws a set piece. He'll have one now.
How about the first ball here from Busquets? Ridiculous. Eyes on the back of his head. That's a difficult one there. I think Reyes gets the ball here. Now the question is he pulled the right arm right there is what the referee sees. Unnecessary from Reyes because he won the ball initially. 19 yards out. If you're Carlos Coronel, how many do you put on the wall here?
Can you put 10? He's already scored 2 free kicks in 8 games for Inter Miami.
I mean, honestly, I would have Nealis be on that post behind the wall.
He's going to be in the wall instead. There's player Dan Edelman behind the wall laying down. Can Messi do it again to seal a first Major League Soccer regular season victory? Messi clipping it into the wall. The wall leaps and does its job and prevents what at times has felt inevitable. Kramaski back to Yedlin. Gets away from Burke. Finds Messi. Robinson leaves. Busquets over to Jordi Alba. What a touch! Messi to his right. He keeps it on his left, of course. Oh, what a ball to Kramaski! Oh! And to Messi! He could not leave New York without a goal. Number 11 in Miami, and his first official Major League Soccer goal seals 3 points for Inter Miami.
Listen, I get the free kicks and all the drama around the free kicks that he scored in Leagues Cup. This is one of the most ridiculous balls I've ever seen. Look at that ball into Kramaski, and all the Red Bull defenders caught ball watching, worried about the ball in behind. Just an absolute show. Vision, pace of pass, continuously running, finishing the play off. Lionel Messi in Leagues Cup put on a show, and in 35 minutes tonight just gave New York City one of the best goals you will ever see. What a privilege to call this man in Major League Soccer. My word.
He always delivers. He always gives the people what they want. In the Big Apple, the player for the big moment has another one. An important one tonight, an important one for Inter Miami in the playoff race. Could they, can they come from 14 points below the playoff line with 12 games to go, come back from that hole and make the playoffs. John Tolkien trying to make this interesting. Wins a corner. It will be very difficult for Inter Miami to do that. They will need to be almost perfect through their final 12 games. Starting tonight with their world superstar on the bench. Step 1 of 12 will be a success for Inter Miami.
He defies human nature. Anyone with a half a brain did not expect Lionel Messi to play tonight, let alone 35 minutes. When all indications, when reports from Tata Martino and his PR company saying highly doubtful, at 10 a.m. this morning, all the news outlets reported highly doubtful Lionel Messi makes his debut today in MLS, regular season. And yet that was one of the best goals I've ever seen.
There's nowhere where he is happier, it seems, than doing what he is doing now, playing this game that he loves.
I mean, this is a joke. Out of your screen, behind 5 defenders, is vision that nobody else sees. And everyone on New York was so surprised that he pulled it off, they forgot about tracking the run.
Robinson goes down. Alan Chapman says no penalty. What a moment. What a goal from Lionel Messi and Inter Miami.
I mean, the 2 assists he had the other night in Cincinnati showed his quality, showed his vision. 818 career goals, I get all of that. But the 2 balls he delivered, one off his set piece, the other one in the final moments of that game to put it on top of Campana's head. But tonight, to see that run from Kremaski, that in and of itself is the definition of world class.
Messi does it. Miami does it. Their first match in Major League Soccer league play. Same result. Another win for Messi and Miami. 2-0 tonight over New York Red Bulls, thanks to Lionel Messi's first Major League Soccer goal.
Nine games played, 11 goals scored.
Not bad.
The leading goal scorer for Inter Miami in 2023 in all competitions is wearing number 10.
Magic. Brilliance. Pick your adjective. Your superlative. They all work. It is working for Inter Miami. Leagues Cup champions. U.S. Open Cup finalists, and now a little bit closer to that playoff line with 11 games to go in the regular season. We started tonight, Taylor, by asking the question, can Inter Miami make the playoffs? Does tonight change your answer?
No, the answer is absolutely 100% they can. Will they? Still a long way to go. But to do that, I think it's understated that Messi understands the full responsibility that all of these fans around the world come and see him, pay their hard-earned money for him to play a part in the game. He didn't start, but what's the old adage? It doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. That man put a bow on tonight.
Down on the pitch, Katie Witham is with Inter Miami's Noah Allen.
Well, Noah, you get an opportunity to start this match. You made the most of it tonight. What did you guys do so well to pull out the win?
Yeah, we just stuck to the game plan. We knew it was gonna be a hard match. Coming here away, sold-out crowd, but we just stuck to the game plan. We defended hard, and we took our chances when it came to us.
You did take your chances. In fact, you assisted on Diego Gomez's goal, your 8th time coming up with the first goal of the match in the last 9 games. How did that play develop? What did you see on that?
Yeah, I saw that ball came to me, and I didn't put in the best cross, but thankfully Diego was on the other end of it, and he did an amazing finish, and it gave us some momentum to defend harder, and it ended up helping with the second goal.
You hear this crowd reacting to what you guys did, to what Lionel Messi once again did here tonight. I mean, you were on the field, you saw his goal develop, the little pass to Kremoski through traffic, and then his finish. Does anything your teammate Lionel Messi does surprise you anymore?
No, man, he's unbelievable. Every day there's something new, and it's just like, wow, like on and off the field, he's just an amazing person and player. I'm so blessed to play with him.
Appreciate the time. Congrats on the win. Go celebrate.
Thank you.